All right, guys, what's going on? I ain't done no cutting this weekend. It's been warm and not raining, but of course, for this time of the year, when it's warm and not raining, it's typically pretty breezy. So, wind's been blowing 10 to 20 mile an hour pretty much all weekend, and I mean, I could go cut, but ground's still wet from all the rain we have had, so it's just the struggle ain't worth it to mess somebody's yard up for what little bit that I could do with the wind blowing. Plus, man's got to rest a little bit every once in a while. But I come up here to the wood pile. Of course, I don't have any sizable wood up here that's clean. I mean, I've got some, but this is hickory, and it's double-hearted. You know, it's a fork, and it's pretty good size. I mean, it's not huge by no means, but I have the 460 lite. I run it some at the house yesterday in smaller wood, but I wanted to try it and get it into some big wood. And I may get it into some of these bigger chunks that I got, get them stood up and just try it. But this thing feels stout and it definitely has compression. But let's get it going. Let's see what it's like. It starts good. Gonna let it warm up in a second. What's going on, everybody? Making this video, I'm fixing to put a full wrap on the 592, but I don't know what is on my pocket utility knife. These should be those handles that I like. And they are. They're getting hard to find at TSC. TSC used to get these for $7, and Amazon, eBay's wanting 20 for them now. I think I got these at like Jack's Mowers or something for $9 or something like that. But anyhow, I got them because I like running them. I like them better than the, and I'm gonna put them all on my new, or my Huskies, the way I had them. I've got some on the steel and whatnot. I don't like the Elasto start, so look at that. And I thought this was going to be a bit heavier. This got a 26-inch handle, and it's an E-swing. It's all metal, but I got it try to bang wedges with but I thought it would have a little bigger pull, whatever you call it, and it doesn't. You know, it's not bad heavy, but about like a hammer or something. So we'll see how it goes, see how much it vibrates. I don't know, but what I'm getting at is, instead of the head getting loose on all the wooden handle ones, because even the one I have to, the one on Bucking's handle or whatever, it's not terribly loose. It's not going to come off, but it's somewhat loose. It's getting a little looser than it was. And I know you can soak it in water and all that, but that's only a temporary fix. But every one of my store-bought ones or whatever, the handles dry out and the heads end up flinging off when I'm banging wedges, like beating on wedges. And if I have to, I might weld me some steel on the sides of it or something, or down here low, and add a little weight to it. Because my main goal with it is the bang wedges, not to chop wood. I'm not chopping no wood. If I want to chop wood, I would, well, not gonna do it. I'd use a chainsaw. I always use a chainsaw. But anyway, all that aside, I ordered a full wrap for the 592. I'm fixing to clean these 572 up and get it in a box, get it sent to Cajun, because I'm ready to get that dude ported. I love the 5 Series Husky. I love the M-Tron, or the Auto Tune. I love the M-Tronic steels. A lot of people don't like them. I love the 500i. It's a great saw. I've heard some people on TikTok, some people on YouTube, and different people You know, which everyone's entitled to their own likes and dislikes, but to me, these new saws make so much power from the factory, and they're just so easy. You never put a screwdriver in it. You know, yeah, if they do give problems, they're aggravating somewhat, but I've worked on my 592 myself and never had a lot of problems. Even put a new carb on it as long as you use your own firmware. If there's nothing wrong with it, the only time you have to get something done to M-Tronic or Auto Tune saw is there's something goes wrong with your firmware or whatever. Then you got to go get it updated. But as long as the firmware for the carburetor is set right and everything, then should be good as far as I know. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm really making this little clip for the video I shot yesterday, and I did some editing on it a few minutes ago. And this is a very good example of what I've always talked about. I feel like the camera's like right in my face. But this is a very good example of what I've always talked about as far as small wood, big saws, small saws. You can have this saw right here and that 562 and in a 7-inch piece of wood or something, 5 inches or whatever, just per se. 562 is possibly going to beat this saw and or out, you know, or be really close to it. Where in normal tree cutting conditions or in something bigger, it would be nowhere in the rim of this saw. But there you go again, vice versa. You take a long bar and big wood, this one's going to beat the crap out of the 562. Because the smaller saws turn higher RPMs most of the time. I'm not going to say every time, but the majority of the time they just do. You'll get a smaller saw that turns higher RPMs. It's kind of like a small block and a big block. Small block, you know, they make power and torque at higher RPMs. Long block is a little lower RPMs, you know. So, right, you know, you kind of get what I'm saying. But it's a prime example of what I'm talking about, because the first little branch I cut, or the first little heart I cut or whatever, that 460 lite's whooping that 7900 by like 3 seconds. And it also depends on your style of cutting too, how much you're bearing down on saw. And I was leaning on that 460 harder than I leaned on any saw there, and I might have slowed it down just a little bit, but it still beat all the other saws. And the thing is, I couldn't lean on them saws as nearly as hard as I could the other one. So it's got tons of torque, and it's got good RPMs too, because it hung with all the other saws, and actually beat them. I think the closest one was the 500i, but the 500i's got a bark box and got a filter on it, you know, so it's got some upgrades, not ported, but it's fuel injected, new school stuff. But does that 500i got the torque that the 460 lite does? No, but these sessions here, what I'm getting at is a good example of what I've always talked about. And if you go back on my channel and look through other challenge or, you know, like versus videos, me running different saws against each other, I state this quite often, because I'll show a smaller saw beating or hanging pretty close to a 572, and something small, and people's like, there's no way you beat a 572 or blah, 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 blah. You know, because, or in a big wood, I'll show the 500i flat smacking the 572. They're like, no way. I seen my 500i got beat by my 572. They might have been cutting wood like that, you know. So it depends on who's cutting, how hard you're leaning on it, and all that kind of crap. And that's why I made a video the other day. Don't get wound up into how fast a saw cuts for it to be your go-to saw. unless you're planning on doing nothing but racing and cookie cutting. And if you're planning on racing and cookie cutting all the time, then by all means, you want to get the fastest saw that you can, no matter whether it's comfortable or not, how hard it is to start, how well it idles and runs most of the time. You just need it for the 3 cuts, down, up, down, done, to get you in a place, to place you as quick as you can be placed. So, that's all I'm getting at. Don't get up in the delusion of this saw, and which I ain't trying to call about. I had one guy be like, open that 7900 up and do that work to it and then see what I do. I didn't make the video for the 460 Lite going against any of the other saws, or the any of the other saws going against the 460 Lite, to put any saw down or to make any saw look bad, because I own every saw that you see on my channel being ran. 99.9% of them on this channel is mine or has been mine. I have ran a couple other saws here and there that has been loaners or whatever, or people's let me run, but very few, or a customer saw, but they always tell me I can. So it's, the majority of the saws you see is saws that are mine. So it's, I'm not doing it to put them down. I was doing it to show how much more power a ported saw has compared to 500i and 7900. And that's the 460 Lite, which is an older version, older like model. It ain't the oldest, it ain't a dinosaur like the 60 McCulloughs or whatever. But, so anyhow, that's what I done that for, not to put anything down or whatever. I done it mainly to showcase what it'll do, and that's what it is. So anyhow, we'll catch y'all on the next one, and see you later. That's crazy stout. Oh, baby, she got compression. got some hickory here, and I've got the 572, 500i, 1700 Makita, the 460 Lite, Aaron Lance poured for me, and the regular 460, 466. And then I've got my 562. What I'm going to do on the 562 and the 572, I've got brand new, right off the reel, semi-skip square ground chain. And the wood's fairly dirty, so I'm going to try to just make like one cut of me applying pressure. I can already tell that 460 Lite is the stoutest saw out here. I've ran them all, and anyway, we're gonna, we're gonna cut into this hickory, and I'm gonna, I've got pieces here and there, and I'm gonna try to find pieces that's similar in size, because I'm eventually gonna, run out of cookies. But this hickory is hard. But we're gonna start out with the 562, and then I'm gonna go with the 572, and just go down through the line, making a couple cuts here and there. And I'm gonna leave you rolling. I'll edit out the bar change and everything on some of it, or fast forward through it, so you ain't gotta suffer through it. I usually don't edit it, because I want everybody to, know that I've changed the bar and chain out, or the chain out, and it's all even. But if y'all have to sit through this many bar changes, this video will be 700 hours long, so. I'm starting the 7900. We'll see how it cuts right now. It's been a minute since I've ran it. Feels a lot better than it did the other day. The other day it wouldn't beat that 572. And today, 572's got 28-inch square ground on it. So.